Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com recap of NXT for September the 21st, 2021, the last day of summer. We head into the fall season with some potential with a lot of NXT superstars. Let's get right down to this recap. Shout out to everybody watching, whether it's live or on demand. I really appreciate your viewership and support. We kicked off NXT with several of the rising stars in the ring. The new NXT World Champion, Tommaso Ciampa, came down to the ring, talked about reclaiming the championship that he never lost. He plugged 2.0, not the Tag Team 2.0, but NXT 2.0, which the fans did chant 2.0 when he said that. He talked about the new talent busting their asses. He put them over. He said the colors may have changed, but there's still the passion. He said now that he's champion, NXT 2.0 is the A show. Not sure I'm going to go that far, but hey, it's a new era, and so far so good, I will say that. Cameron Grimes interrupted, and he talked about how the NXT Championship is his rocket fuel to go straight to the moon. Then we had LA Knight interrupt. Odyssey Jones cut off Knight, saying that Knight lost twice in a row, twice in one day on last week's show, and needs to shut up. We then had Pete Dunn and Ridge Holland arrive, and we got a big fight breaking out with everybody. Ciampa and Bron Breakker, the young Steiner, Rick Steiner's son, they cleared the ring. And we had Bron get on the mic and started trash talking, said they should have a tag team match, and said that Pete Dunn and Ridge Holland should get some balls and fight them. And we had our main event match set up, a tag team match, Pete Dunn and Ridge Holland against Tommaso Ciampa and Bron Breakker. I was really enjoying this promo from Breakker because I started to close my eyes and I could think of Scott Steiner. He sounded so much like his uncle, and I love it. I love that personality coming out in him. He is like his dad looks-wise, but his mannerisms and the way he talks, he's like his uncle. And in the ring, he's pretty damn solid so far. And we'll talk more about that later. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, who in NXT do you see as a future WrestleMania main eventer? Bron Breakker is the guy right now. I wish he would change his name, though. I still hate the name. I'm dealing with it, but I wish he would just be Rex Steiner or Bronson Steiner or Braun Steiner. You got to have the Steiner in there. Like, come on now. You know, just like Randy Orton. Imagine if Randy Orton was Randy Johnson or something like that. Or Rugged Randy or Randy Rampage with 2 E's at the end. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. Says, is there really that much bad blood that he cannot use the Steiner name? Man, I wish I knew what the deal was, but for whatever reason, they do not want to use that name. Maybe it'll change. Maybe they'll work something out with the Steiner brothers and the fences will be mended and WWE will embrace the Steiner name. I really wish they would, because that's the one negative is the name. I do not like the Bron Breakker name, but I feel like if they force it on us, I'll get used to it over time. We had several NXT women in the backstage area brawling, and then we had our first match of the evening for the Cruiserweight Championship. We had Kushida defending against Roderick Strong. This match was supposed to take place several weeks ago, but Kushida got COVID-19. We finally got the match. The Diamond Mine was at ringside. Not a particularly long match. Kushida was working over the arm, and he eventually got the hoverboard lock on. But Malcolm Bivens put Strong's foot on the rope when the referee wasn't looking. And then Bivens distracted the referee. The rest of the Diamond Mine interfered. And then Strong picked up the victory to become the new Cruiserweight Champion. Right after the match was over, Grayson Waller, another newcomer, interrupted and said that NXT is a jungle. And he is taking an opportunity. He wanted a match next week against Roderick Strong. Bivens checked in with Strong, and the match was accepted for next week. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Bron Breakker is better than Michael McGillicuddy. I'll give him that. It's slightly better than that. Not by much, but a little bit. And people are still commenting about the Steiners. And yeah, Scott Steiner, as we all know, has been a very vocal critic of WWE in recent years. And Rick Steiner has not really been on great terms with WWE either. He had that one run in 93 and 94, and he was never in WWE again. We had another promo from Tony D'Angelo talking about his family, some stuff like that. You know, I'm just waiting to see what he does in the ring. You know, they're doing these little short vignettes. We had Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller, and this was basically a squash match. A lot of squash matches on this show. It seems like WWE is now focusing on showcasing the talent, which they were doing before, but I feel like the matches were longer, and now they're doing more clearly defined squash matches that are just going a couple of minutes to showcase the talents that they're trying to push. Kaylee Ray, of course, from NXT UK, picked up a very easy win. And then we had another vignette from Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen talking about how they first met up in a bar and they started fighting. There was a huge bar fight, and I guess that made them bond, and now they're a tag team. Kind of gives me APA vibes a little bit. What do you guys think? We had another promo from Bron Breakker. Once again, I close my eyes. I think of Big Papa Pump. We could call Bron Breakker Big Bron Pump, or Big Papa Bron, or something like that. So he talked about how he gets to be in the main event with 3 of the top guys in the world. He said he's ready to kick some ass, and said, who better to do it with than the champion? He hesitated and said the champ, looking down at Tommaso Ciampa's title. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat says, Money Talks, offer Scott something and use the name. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if they do that. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe at some point, Bron Breakker will come out there and he'll be a Steiner. Never say never, I guess. And Randy agrees, definitely an APA vibe with Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. We had another newcomer from Singapore, and they were hyping up. He's the first WWE superstar from Singapore. Dante Chen making quick work of Trey Baxter. And after the match, Trey was very upset backstage, and his girlfriend came up to him. I missed her name. Somebody in the chat room can help me with that, but she was motivating him, gave him a kiss. So yeah, Dante Chen gets a quick win here and basically a squash match. We had a vignette with Andre Chase, and he was hosting this university seminar, whatever it was, and he was showing footage of Odyssey Jones and how Jones made a weak cover. Jones is a loser. And then one of the fans called him out, and Chase started going nuts and threw things around and kicked that guy out of the seminar. Cora Jade is the name of Trey Baxter's girlfriend. Thank you for that, TJS. So many newcomers. I'm I'm also missing some of the names. I try to go back and find a screenshot or check WWE's Twitter for the names. So thank you for that, TJS. And they were talking about Kyle O'Reilly, how O'Reilly, they're not sure when he's going to be back. It might be a week-to-week situation where they just don't know. It's going to be 1 week at a time. And then we had another new guy. The announcer said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elias." No, they actually said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Gacy," who was dressed in formal attire. He had a nice shirt and nice slacks, and he was, I'm not even sure what the hell he was talking about here, really. He was bringing up safe space and his male privilege and said that he can achieve peace in the safe space. I was not blown away by this act. So we had him against Cameron Grimes, and Grimes hit the cave-in, picked up a fairly easy win, and then after the match, Gacy offered a handshake, gave Grimes a hug, and that was that. So, yeah, didn't really do much for me here. We had a recap of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Gaylord Loomis's wedding, and they brought up how Loomis talked for the first time, and Wade Barrett perhaps with the line of the night, saying that it's a good thing Loomis learned some oral skills before the honeymoon. And the look on Barrett's face, he looked like he thought he was going to get fired for saying that line. But it was funny, and there was a report that WWE is looking to make NXT an edgier brand. And, you know, part of the problem when they were going up against AEW was getting most of the 18 to 49-year-old viewers. NXT's viewers largely came from that 50 and over crowd. So I guess now they're trying to appeal to people 18 to 34, appeal to that longer or younger audience, and thus we're getting more swearing and more sexual references and so forth. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, "I need to see Braun in a triple threat match and do a math promo. I need this in my life for real, LOL." I would love it if he just started referencing Scott Steiner promos, like very subtly, like not something that the average person would be like, what the hell is he talking about? You know, just something subtle, but all of us that are Scott Steiner fans would very much appreciate, whether it's a little math reference or calling Samoa Joe fat whenever Joe comes back. Maybe we'll get Samoa Joe versus Bron Breakker in a match. Like, I love that he's paying tribute to his father and his uncle, doing all that stuff. Virtue thought I gave up doing the NXT recaps. Well, I decided to give it another go around now that they're doing NXT 2.0. So they got me to come back at least for a little while. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, "Will Breakker change his name if Strowman comes back?" Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we do need Braun Strowman to come back so Bron Breakker can get a new name. I like your thinking there. But I know the whole Braun thing is shortening his actual name, Bronson. I get that. We had a Von Wagner video package, and he said, yeah, he did not get the job done, but he's going to continue to put in the work. He was doing some workouts with the giant tire and so forth. I liked the video package. I thought that was more interesting than his wrestling last week. I mean, it was okay, but didn't really stand out to me that much. But a lot of people apparently have high hopes on the guy and think he could potentially be a WrestleMania main eventer. Right now, I think Bron Breakker is the front runner as far as the current crop of guys that they have. We had Elektra Lopez. And by the way, she's another one that stands out to me. As far as the women go, I think she's one of the standouts right now. She came out there with Legado del Fantasma. She picked up a quick win over Anna Shear. And I like Lopez's look. She comes to the ring. She kind of has some star presence. and they cut a promo after the match. Santos Escobar put her over, says she completes the family, she completes the faction. Lopez said that what she did in the ring was just a taste of what she is going to unleash on B-Fab from Hit Row and the entire NXT 2.0 roster. And then that's when Hit Row arrived. B-Fab ran in and attacked Lopez from behind. Hit Row pulled away B-Fab, and then the crowd was doing the whole let them fight, and they ran back at each other. I'm looking forward to the 4-on-4 match at some point. That should be a fun one. And it was confirmed that next week Raquel Gonzalez will defend the NXT Women's Championship against Frankie Monet. We then had Odyssey Jones in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Andrew Chase was coming down to watch. Jones picked up an easy win. Did the big splash coming off the second rope onto both guys. And then Chase came in with a chair. Broke the chair over Jones, but Jones basically just no-sold it, and Chase ran away. Good stuff here. Jones is another guy that might have some potential. We had Toxic Attraction come to the ring, Mandy Rose's new faction. And I'm bummed out because they got rid of the Sweet Dreams ripoff song. Like, they have some generic song now. I was really digging that song. If you guys go back and watch the recap last week, I really liked the song, and they take away one thing that I liked about the act. Unfortunate. Anyways, maybe they got in trouble that it sounded too much like Sweet Dreams. I don't know. But Mandy Rose cut this promo saying that they don't give a damn what the people think about them. And she said, behind the beauty, the beasts are ready to be unleashed. And the crowd was doing the what chants, and Mandy was like, say what if you don't think I'm the hottest thing alive? And, well, they pretty much shut up at that point. So nice recovery there, Mandy. I like the line. And they talked about wanting the women's tag team titles. And then backstage, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark were there to respond to the challenge. Io Shirai accepted, but Zoe Stark was a little upset that Io just blurted it out without them talking about it first. Nonetheless, the match is set for next week. So we got 2 women's title matches next week. And there's also going to be that Cruiserweight title match as well. And Steve-O in the chat says it's a shame about the theme song. He liked it as well. We had our main event of the evening. But real quick before I get to that, Ehmann Giro had a little vignette showing off his wardrobe. And you know what? The guy's charismatic. He's got some personality, but definitely feels like a guy that if he's on the main roster, he's probably going to be chasing the 24/7 title. Like, he's entertaining, and I could see him getting WWE TV time, but I feel like he's going to be kind of like Tozawa, where he's doing the comedy stuff, and he'll be running around with R-Truth. Maybe I'll be wrong, but that's kind of the vibe I get from him. Anyways, main event. Steiner, Bron Breakker. I like his music, and I hope they don't change it. It's like they'll do all this stuff to make it clear he's a Steiner without calling him Steiner. Like, his music, the beginning of it has some sirens, kind of like Scott Steiner's WWE entrance, which I love, paying homage to him. And of course, Bron Breakker's got the Rick Steiner attire. And I like the music, I like the presentation. Him and Ciampa against Dunn and Holland. Ciampa and Dunn went at it for a while, and then Breakker tagged in, went after Holland. And I was liking the stuff here that Breakker was doing some of the wrestling that his dad would do, and then bust out some of the suplexes like Scott Steiner doing the belly to belly suplexes. And then he even busted out the Steiner recliner. He pulled down his straps, put on the Steiner recliner. I popped for that. I like that he's paying the tributes to his dad and his uncle. And the crowd even started doing the Rick Steiner barking at one point. Eventually, Dunn got the upper hand. And Holland hit an Alabama slam. By the way, Holland, this is another guy that I think could possibly be a pretty big star in the main roster. You know, he's built well, and standing in there with Bron Breakker, like, he was even bigger. So I think that's another guy that might get a pretty decent opportunity on the main roster. Ciampa broke up the pin attempt, and then Breakker and Holland, you know, the two big meaty men trading blows. Crowd was into that. Dunn tried to use Holland's stick that he brings to the ring and uses as a weapon. But then Kyle O'Reilly, who the announcers earlier acted like he might not be around for a while, O'Reilly made his return after 1 week and used the stick on Holland. Referee did not see it. And then in the ring, Bron Breakker picked up the victory over Holland. After the match was over, Ciampa patted Breakker on the back, raised his hand. All was well, although they are seemingly planting the seeds between Bron Breakker eventually going after Ciampa for the title. TGS says Bron has to beat Ciampa, right? I guess we'll see. I mean, he might not win the title on his first attempt, but I feel like they're definitely setting up for that match at some point. Overall, another good show. I enjoyed it. I give the show a solid B. And I'm enjoying watching Breakker. I think he's got a lot of potential. And there's several guys. You know, Odyssey Jones definitely looks like he can be something. Ridge Holland is another guy. And yeah, Elektra Lopez. They're showcasing some new talent, and you know, ultimately that's what it's all about. So yeah, fun show to watch, easy watch. It flew by fast. I'm fine. You know, I'm fine with the squash matches. I've been saying this for the longest time. Like, it's okay to do squash matches to build up talent and get the audiences acquainted with them and learning their move sets and everything. You know, it's totally fine. So yeah, solid B show. And the Breakker stuff I definitely recommend checking out, because I really do think that he's gonna get an opportunity. Whether he goes all the way and becomes a big star remains to be seen, but I would be shocked. You know, I hate to say this, but he kind of reminds me of Velveteen Dream in the sense of, like, he has the tools. I'm just scared that, you know, he doesn't go down the Velveteen Dream route and just completely fizzles out. But if he doesn't, it's gonna be a big deal. And next week we're gonna have footage from the Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell wedding. So Raymaster Flex gives it a B. Matt Helms and the Game is on 100 with B pluses. Same with Ace and his familiar vlogs. Curtis Butler with a B minus. And Mark Del Rio with a B minus. I did the poll. Let me see what you guys did for that. All right. 33% A, 35% B, 22% C, and 11% D. Slight majority for a B, but a lot of A's as well. And a quick plug for Colin Andrew. If you guys head over to his channel, him and Noah Foster have already done predictions for Extreme Rules. We're going to be waiting for the no DQ one. We'll be doing that on Saturday, just because I want to wait till Smackdown and see if they add any more matches. So Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we will be doing the Extreme Rules predictions. I prefer to do them sooner, but don't really have time anyways, and plus I want to have the full card if possible, or the fullest card possible. And of course we got AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, biggest crowd in AEW history. They got a stacked show. Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. Huge match on Dynamite. Gonna be a big one. Make sure you guys tune in for that recap. I will see you then. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. And peace out.